What is going on? Shit. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode number 5 of the Valley Talks podcast. I'm your host, SUNSWORLDWIDE, and I'm joined with my co-host, Trevor Booth.
Hey, how we doing?
We are back. We are back once again. We got kicked in the ass last night. San Antonio Spurs overcome the Phoenix Suns 104-102 without Victor Wembanyama. Trevor, how are we feeling?
Very concerned. I said it in the first half immediately when the offense, right? I had some concerns with the way things were going, and then eventually Nurkic goes down, Beal goes down late. It felt like it was just a snowball of disappointment until the end when it all kind of wrapped itself within one with the loss itself. So it's kind of the best way I can put it.
Yeah, definitely a tough one there. You guys are probably going to blame us because yesterday in the podcast we did say Yusuf Nurkic was having his best, like his highest game plays season since 2018, 2019, and now he's hurt. And I even knocked on wood too, so really double down on that one there. So that's tough. Bradley Beal, I think he got his finger caught in a jersey from what he said there
Okay.
on the
Yep.
opposing team. So we'll see. They're both questionable for tomorrow's game in Denver. And there's a couple updates there for the Nuggets as well. There's a couple of injuries there. I think Aaron Gordon's questionable or probable. Let me pull it up here. Okay. Uh, okay. So Jamal Murray is questionable. Jokic is probable. Michael Porter Jr. is listed probable, and Aaron Gordon is he's listed questionable with a foot injury. So
Okay.
they kind of have some guys down there kind of banged up. Basically their whole starting lineup for the most part here. So it's going to be an interesting one. Bradley Beal and Yusuf Nurkic didn't practice today. That's what's up to my knowledge there. So definitely interesting. Injuries have definitely been the kill of the season. So yeah. Just taking a look here. Kevin Durant via Dwayne Rankin. Uh, kind of talked about just kind of what's been going on with the Suns here. He said, "We know what needs to be done. Conversation is cool. Communication is cool. Letting everybody know what we need to do out there. But you still got to put our bodies in action to do it. It's a difference between going to something and just talking about it." What are your thoughts on that one, Trevor?
Sorry, I totally goofed up. Can you read the quote again?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He said, "We know what needs to be done. Conversation is cool. Communication is cool. Letting everybody know what we need to do out there. But we still got to put our bodies in action to do it. It's a difference between going to do something and just talking about it."
100%. 100%. I think KD summed it up right there. I got no words after that.
Yeah. Bradley Beal also had a quote after the game yesterday. That pretty much that they just mentally just thought they had the game in the bag since Wemby was out. I don't know if you saw that. Um, but yeah, that's concerning, definitely. And I think that's just kind of how the whole season's gone. I think the Suns just kind of expected, which is kind of, I mean, there's the clip that would probably resurface after the season, where Devin Booker is sitting there, he's like, "You can't guard all of us at once," or whatever. So it just kind of seems like that's the mentality there, that teams are just going to roll over and just kind of let the Phoenix Suns kick their ass. But little do they know, it's opposite day. It's been opposite day for the past 72 games. So yeah. Anything you want to touch on, Trevor?
I really don't get this team worldwide. I mean, you mentioned it, the Riddler. This team really
Yeah.
is. Jekyll and Hyde, ever analogy or comparison you want to make this team really is. I don't get it. I posted a couple thoughts this morning. Who knows if they're right? They're more so questions. Just about the direction this team is going and the way it's gone. I think there's a lot of concerns that a lot of people have and a lot of things that we don't know. But I think what we do know is that this team is not where it's supposed to be. And, they've got 10 games to fix it.
Yeah, 100%. These last 10 games are basically, they're literally make or break for the season here. Um, not a lot, like, I don't get it. it literally leaves me speechless thinking about this team. The Riddler, this is his team, man. It's tough. It's very tough. I had some conversations with people. I'm not gonna disclose who, but shit is not looking good.
Mm,
And we better believe what you're seeing is basically to believe it. And if that doesn't tell you something, man, I don't know. I don't know. That's coming, yeah. But Chandler Parsons actually made a comment about the Phoenix Suns today in the Run It Back podcast. Um, he talks about the Suns are the biggest threat to the Nuggets in the Western Conference. But guess what quote he used to follow this up, Trevor? It pretty much sums up the Suns this whole season. They are terrifying because we know how the good or how good they can be when they try.
mm, really? I mean, really, it's that simple. No words after that.
Yeah, and just looking at the last 10 games of the season here, I know we kind of touched on it in yesterday's podcast, but we got the Nuggets tomorrow, the second seed, or they're the first seed right now. Then you got the OKC Thunder that are the second seed. Then the Pelicans who are the fourth seed. And the Cavaliers, I don't know what their standing is in the Eastern Conference, but I'm pretty sure they're up there right now. They're the third seed. Um, then you got the Timberwolves, which is up there. The Pelicans once again. The Clippers back to back. The Canes and then the Timberwolves. So it's really gonna be an ass beating. The Suns are in the playoffs, pretty much. The playoffs have started. Um, the Suns had no reason to not go 4-0 in the last four games here. Dropping that one, San Antonio is really tough, but three and one's kind of. I actually thought the Suns were gonna go 2-2, just just from how the Suns have been here lately, but. I think Suns going to Denver tomorrow, take a win, and then it seems like they go to OKC on Friday. They might drop that game. No idea. We have no idea what this team is going to look like even. Um, then they go to New Orleans once again, and then they're back home at Cleveland. Then they're home against the Timberwolves, and then their last two home games are against the Pelicans and the Clippers. Any thoughts on the schedule there, Trev?
Yeah, this 10-game stretch specifically, I mean, these next three are going to be a gauntlet. You got first in the West, second in the West, and then a team that's now moved to fourth and is kind of competing for you for some of that seed line. And really, it's possible that the Suns could play any of these teams coming up, and whether they're in the play-in or moving forward. And I think we talked about just before we started the show the 4-game home stretch here with Cleveland, Minnesota, New Orleans, and the Clippers. I feel like you got to take advantage because it's your only home games left. So really trying to get all four of those. If they can steal two of these, one or two of these, and okay, so let's say it's a 7. Let's say they go like 5-2. I think
Yeah,
that would be a positive. Like if they can, that's not out of the stretch of the imagination. Like let's say if they just get the Pelicans and then they go on and win those 4 games at home, like I think that's a win. I think a lot of people would be positive. That gets you at 47 and 32, and you're in a better spot. You have a chance to win 50 games still. I mean, if they get to that 50-game mark, I think that would put them at least 8-2 the rest of the way. So,
yeah,
I mean, if you can do that, that would be great. One thing I just kind of want to note so we talked about this 6-game stretch starting with the Charlotte game through last night, and they finished 4-2. A lot of people were feeling like the Suns had to go 6-0 because of what's upcoming. So just kind of wanted to point that out too. The Milwaukee loss without Giannis, and then the Spurs loss without what do you call it? Without
Wemby.
Wemby. So yeah, disappointing they weren't able to get the last two, but it is not over, and this team has shown that it can go into Denver and win before without Devin Booker.
Without
So
Devin Booker.
we'll see. We'll see what they got in store tomorrow.
Yeah, just a quick little thing to look for tonight. The Kings and the Mavericks do play tonight. They're both 42 and 29. I do believe if one of them loses, they might would that move the Phoenix up into 7, I believe.
Yeah. Let's see. I believe the Mavs have the tiebreaker and the Kings don't, if I'm right.
Gotcha. Here. So yeah, one thing to look for here, Phoenix could one of their
It's 2-2,
what
but I think point differential, Suns got it.
yeah, so look for that. Suns can move up into 7 tonight. Not much else outside the standings here besides this team. is it's gonna take a beating. uh, and it kind of looks like most of these teams going through the stretch these last 10 games here. I don't even think, like, starting at April 10th there with the Clippers, I don't think any of these teams are going to rest their starters against this Suns team at all, because the standings in the West are so tight. So yeah, I don't think we're going to see any teams resting. Surely don't expect Phoenix to. Kind of cool, get to see Book and them play.
Right.
And TJ Warren, because he just signed a rest of the year deal with the Timberwolves. So that's cool. That fills a childhood dream of mine.
Nice.
And yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one. Did want to actually take a look at something here. Just kind of back to the Suns' offense there. I know we had conversations about this. It kind of seems like the Suns, they find something in the offense that works so well, but then they go away from it. Steve Jones here. I'll play the clip on the screen for you guys here. They say the Suns will run some incredibly fun actions and then go away from it out of a timeout. Gordon cuts into a Nurkic post split. Allen slips and sets a pin down for Kevin Durant. And just look at the space there. Kevin Durant, this is the off ball play I was talking about for Kevin Durant there, where he gets that free throw line. It's just easy buckets. The Suns need to do more of this for Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker. I feel like one thing the Suns just do a lot of standing around. I feel it's a lot of ISO ball, and the Suns need to really get away from that because we have so many high IQ basketball players that can make the right play at any time. This is what we got in Yusuf Nurkic for, to make post passes, to play make from the post. So definitely gotta do more stuff like that. Then another one here. A screen for Booker turns into a Eubanks catch, split with Beal, screening for Booker into a handoff that flows right into a Eubanks screening for Beal. It's in there. And that, you can see there, Booker comes off the screen, passes to Beal, Beal pull up jumper, bang. Uh, I know, Trevor, you've been very high in the Phoenix Suns being more creative with the offensive flow here. Any touch ups on this subject here?
I think Steve's right. I think at times this team is really good, and they've really pieced together some good things. Kevin Durant has said in the media too, and credited the coaches for really simplifying the offense. That was a quote a couple weeks ago, and we know that Bradley Beal's rim pressure is opening things, and I think that just makes your offense a little more diverse. And in basketball saying, and KD's told me this too, is like the more unpredictable you are as a team, the better chance or the harder you are to stop. And so for the Suns, knowing that, and knowing that your best player to a lot of people is saying that, like, how do you capitalize on that? And to my understanding, worldwide, I think that things have changed a bit. I think that health plays a huge role in this.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they haven't had everybody together, so they haven't been able to run maybe the sets or the things they want to. I think about just some of the lineups, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense why it's not being ran. But that's pretty much my whole thoughts on it. The fourth quarter, I think things were running a lot through Booker, and I don't know. I can't speak for the staff because we haven't heard from them, and this is we're not obviously in the locker room with the team or anything. But seems to me that kind of the focal point down the stretch is Booker getting the ball in his hands, and yeah, I put it out last night. It seems to be a little predictable. I'd have to watch the film back to make sure I'm reading it right, but the kind of the feel of it felt a lot similar to when they played Golden State at the beginning of the year. But again, want to watch that back before I kind of make a declarative statement. But I think Steve nailed it. The offense is consistent and moving. Guys have multiple positions they can attack from the offensive floor, and they have that capability. I think health has played a huge role in why they haven't been able to this point.
Yeah, and just back to the health thing here. The Suns' big three so far. I have a breakdown for the 72 games or the 72 games the Suns have played here for injuries. Game one, Bill got hurt. Two, Booker got hurt. In game six, Booker returned. Game seven, Booker got hurt. Game nine, Beal returned. Game 11, Booker returns, and then Bradley Beal got hurt. Game 17, Kevin Durant gets hurt. 19, Durant returns, and then Booker gets hurt. By game 20, Booker returns. By game 21, Durant gets hurt. By game 23, Beal returns. By game 24, Durant returns. And then game 25, Beal gets hurt again.
Mm.
By game 31, Beal returned. By the 32nd game, Durant got hurt. Then he returned by game 36. And then the Suns didn't really have any injuries there for a minute until game 51, where Devin Booker got hurt. And then he came back for game 53. Then by game 54, Bradley Beal got hurt. He returned during game 59, where Devin Booker then got hurt. And then game 65, Booker returns. And then last night, game 72, Bradley Beal gets hurt.
Hmm.
So, yeah,
Guys just
that
cannot stay on the floor.
that's a mouthful right there. That
Yeah,
was a paragraph of injuries.
that's why I
Huh?
think getting 50 wins would just be huge. Like, if after all of that would be, I think that'd be a real good accomplishment.
The main goal, like for what I'm looking for here, Trevor, is if the Suns can stay out of the play-in tournament. I think that's huge. Honestly, I think that gives it gives the Suns a little bit, because how is it, like a week between the play-in and then the first round?
Believe so. Yeah, it's definitely that time crunch.
Gives the Suns a week to get a mental relapse, just kind of just get locked in, focus, get some more practice in for the playoffs, and just kind of focus up on rotations, because I don't even know what I mean. And this brings me to another thing. Since Yusuf Nurkic is questionable for tomorrow, Drew Banks, hopefully not, will probably be starting. But in a playoff type game, this is a great chance for Bol to show if he can play playoff minutes.
Yes.
I know we had this conversation yesterday, if Bull would be in the rotation, and if he is, does he get just a couple minutes and runs, or does he get true playoff minutes? So games like this one tomorrow against Denver and even OKC is really huge. So yeah, if Nurk is out, I'm not even looking at Eubanks. I'm looking at Bull. I want to see what Bull's doing and just kind of evaluate his play. And I will be doing breakdowns of Bulls play on the podcast if that situation does happen. But hopefully Nurk is back tomorrow and playing against Denver.
That would be the goal. Also, get healthy through this 10-game stretch. Stay healthy. No one else go down.
That's a huge key here, because we literally can't afford anybody else to go down here, especially with how tough the schedule is. It's not like we're playing like the Wizards or Pistons or anything, but we did play the Spurs without Wemby and they beat us. So does it really matter? I don't really know. Um, Jeremy Sohan, I can't stare at him anymore. Hurts my face. Um, we're gonna do a little bit of yapping here.
All right.
Just kind of talk about the Suns' future, because I feel like that's something we haven't really talked about in the podcast here. We're just gonna start off with the off season here. Say worst comes to worst, I think it's inevitable that James Jones does get removed from his duties in the Suns front office.
I think that's a question a lot of people have had, and although we've heard nothing but, well, I guess from the reporting side, let me say we've heard nothing but support from Ishbia and Bartlestein for James, but Matt has been quick to assert himself and assert his guys in this whole situation, and they said that they're very public about the goal is to win, and if they're not winning, right, like if they're not meeting the expectation, like they're not gonna sit pat. So I know that we've read in some Woj stories as well, nothing that I've been able to report on my end, but at least according to Woj, that a lot of the basketball operations actually flow through Matt and Justin Ishbia and Bartlestein and then Jones. Like that's kind of the pecking order. So with that alone, I think that stands reason to believe that there could be a change down the line.
Yeah, 100%. And I know we talked a little bit before we started recording this podcast here, but I think Frank Vogel's job is definitely on the line here. I don't think anything is safe. I was kind of hoping I could bring this up with Espo, but I believe there was a season, I don't remember who they hired, but it was the year before Alvin Gentry became coach for the Phoenix Suns.
Okay.
Uh, I think I don't know who was the coach before, and it's really gonna make me seem like a casual.
Terry Porter, is that here?
Terry, yeah, whoever it was, he was
Yeah.
in there for like a year, and then he was gone. And I don't think the Suns did that good that year. But then they brought in like Alvin Gentry. He was a better coach for the team. The Suns did way better. Could we see a potential situation like that here with the Phoenix Suns? I don't know who is on the market or who potentially would be going into this offseason. But what do you think, Trevor? Do you think we could see a situation like that happen possibly?
Nothing that I've been able to kind of confirm on this front, so don't want to say anything on it. We could probably, yeah, I'll just say nothing on it.
Gotcha. Um, and then obviously, I think soon here, Grayson Allen is able to get extended for $75 million via Dwayne Rankin, I believe.
Yes, sir. Eligible
So
tomorrow, I think.
eligible tomorrow. So, do you think it will happen? It's my question.
I I think so. I think Grayson likes playing here. There's a reason why he's doing extremely well here. But also, if you're a player, you got to take care of yourself. So money's going to be a big thing, but playing
100%.
situation and also overall happiness is just as important, if not more important, to a lot of these guys. So if he and his family feel comfortable in Phoenix in the basketball situation, then it makes sense that he would stay here.
Yeah, 100%. And then someone asked me about Royce O'Neal this offseason in my DMs. I don't remember who, but do you think, because he's on the last year of his contract too, isn't he?
Right, and they do have his bird rights, if I remember correctly.
Okay. So I'm just going to make a prediction and say Phoenix does bring it back. But I kind of want to look at the draft here because this kind of circles back to James Jones here, what we talked about earlier about his job being in jeopardy. James Jones has been serving as the Phoenix Suns general manager since 2019, and we're just kind of take a look at his draft history here, just kind of see what draft picks this guy has made, and if we want him to be making another first, because Phoenix does have a first round pick this year, right?
I see second pick, protected 31 through 49, and then first round pick to Washington or Memphis. Washington has the right to swap for selections 13 to 30 for Phoenix's first round pick. Memphis
Well,
has
yeah.
the right to swap its 2024 first round pick for less favorable, the Phoenix pick and the Washington pick.
So yeah, do we want James making another first round pick for us? Let's take a look at James Jones' draft history. Uh, in his first year as general manager, in the first round with the sixth pick, they drafted Jarrett Culver, but I believe they traded that for Cameron Johnson, if I'm correct here.
Yes.
And then the following year, with the first round pick 10 in the draft, we took Sticks over Tyrese Halliburton and stuff and such. But that's kind of tough though because we had Chris Paul and stuff in there. And I believe the Suns did that. I've read something about this. I don't know if it's true, but they just kind of did that for CP3's sake of happiness. I don't know if that's true or not. Um, and then the following year, with pick 29, they took Day'Ron Sharp in 2021. And I think, yeah, he was then traded to Brooklyn for who I don't really recall actually this happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then skip ahead to this past off season, which was probably one of the better picks for James Jones was Tamani Kamara, which he then traded. So cancels out there, James.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know if I want. I mean, Jalen Smith, he's been a decent role player over there in Indiana, but definitely missed out on some great opportunities for the Phoenix Suns. Um, this is actually this. We're gonna do a little conspiracy theory talk here. Isaiah Thomas, he's very close with Matt Ishbia, and I see his social media stuff a lot, which is kind of strange, but he always reposts a lot of Phoenix Suns stuff, which kind of leads me to believe that he might be kind of involved with the Suns. I don't know if you know anything about this or kind of have any comments or thoughts.
Yeah, none from me. Ishbia has, actually, yeah, none from me again.
So yeah, just a little conspiracy theory talk here. I know there was some swirling on Twitter when what was it? There was something about Isaiah Thomas and the Phoenix Suns. I don't recall what exactly, but people did not like the reaction because I guess did Isaiah Thomas do stuff with the New York Knicks?
There was, I believe, a sexual misconduct. Let me look it up just to be sure.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not what I was expecting.
Yeah, alleged sexual harassment controversy back in New York.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Um, I thought it was just because people thought he sucked at his job. Well, he did, but he really
there was
sucked.
also
Okay.
that.
Okay. Let's bring it back to something positive here. I don't even know how to bring us back in here on that one. Okay. Also, Damian Lee has joined the Phoenix Suns for the 5-game road trip here, so that's interesting to see. I'm assuming, I mean, we're approaching that end of the regular season here, where that's kind of where they're expecting Damian Lee to return. So maybe we see Damian Lee get in here at the end of the season. And Trevor, actually, little prediction. I kind of want a prediction from you. If Damian Lee were to return towards the end of the regular season, what date are we thinking here?
Really don't know. They've kept that under wraps, so I can't say.
I would, man, I don't I, like it's tough. Like I almost want to say like April 9 almost because that is the Phoenix Suns' last home game of the season. It would be against the Clippers. Then obviously that would give Damian Lee 4 games to just kind of see where he's at as a player right now, coming off injury. I know we kind of talked about Damian Lee and what his role could be if he comes back. But yeah, that's just kind of what's going on with the Phoenix Suns as of now. Um, we got some cool stuff planned though in the future coming up here in April. April's gonna be a very fun month. They're not gonna really say what is gonna happen, but there's gonna be a strong presence. That's all I'm gonna say. Strong presence. Um, so yeah, thank you guys for tuning in to episode 5. The March Madness continues to go on here for the Phoenix Suns. Just gotta Phoenix Suns just gotta learn from the lessons here, and they've really just gotta. The Suns have been talking a lot about what they can do, but they just gotta show it. They just gotta show what they gotta do. Come out here and dominate because when you have guys like Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant, I mean, honestly, I haven't lost faith in this team quite yet, but it makes you wonder with just these bad losses that the Suns have been taking all year. And you would have to think, Trevor, Bradley Beal hasn't played in the playoffs in a hot minute. You would think he'd be really hungry to get back to that spot, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think everybody's ready.
I just think
Yeah, these guys are pros.
it's just about getting back and stand out of the plan. I think that's just super huge for this team. And as I'm about to wrap it up here, we actually got a quote from Frank Vogel here.
Yes, sir.
Via Dwayne Rankin, he said, "Smelled the gym some. We had a spirited film session this morning. Made sure we held guys accountable for how we played last game. Last game hopefully sharpens us. Scheduling coming up hopefully sharpens us. So it's great to hear. Hopefully this is hopefully guys do actually like take accountability here. I like that they're being held accountable, but it could just be words. Trev, what do you think?
I think that's what, as a coach, what you got to say. Move on, get to the next one.
Yeah. But yeah, that pretty much wraps it up here, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in to episode 5 of the Valley Talks podcast. We're still getting better at this. Constructive criticism is always cool, so put it down in the comments. I know I'm super jumpy. ADHD goes crazy because there's so much stuff going on right now as I scroll Twitter once again. But yeah, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications because we do talk about some pretty cool stuff on here. Is it yapping most of the time? Probably, but hey, it's good yapping. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys in episode 6.
Thanks, guys.
Tom, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You know what I'm saying?